Imagine you walk into a room and the temperature drops not because people fear you, but because they settle. Conversations soften, attention gathers. Problems that were buzzing like flies suddenly fall quiet, as if they recognize the one person here who won't be baited by noise. That presence, calm, firm, deeply human, is the kind that commands respect. It isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It doesn't threaten. It simply is. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor surrounded by armies, advisors, intrigues, and the everyday aches of being human, cultivated that presence. He didn't chase respect. He didn't hunger for it. He lived in a way that made respect the most natural byproduct. He called it living according to nature, by which he meant living in alignment with reason, virtue, and the responsibilities of your role. He wrote to himself each dawn and night to stay steady. He corrected himself when he strayed. He practiced seeing people as kin rather than enemies. He trained his emotions to serve judgment rather than rule it. That's not the stuff of intimidation. That's the stuff of integrity. If you're listening now, maybe you're asking, how do I grow that kind of presence? How do I step into rooms, boardrooms, family rooms, classrooms, and naturally command respect without demanding it? Why is this even important? It's important because we can't do our work, our real work, if we are constantly negotiating for our dignity. It's important because people suffer when force fills the spaces where character should lead. And it's important because, deep down, you already know respect isn't a trophy handed out by the crowd. It's the echo that arises when your inner world and outer actions ring true. In this audiobook, I'll walk you through 7 techniques inspired by Marcus Aurelius that help you command respect by becoming profoundly respectable. Not perfect, not robotic, not holier than thou, human, clear-eyed, steady, courageous, and kind. These techniques are practical. They are trainable. They are not reserved for emperors and philosophers. They are for you today if you're willing to practice. As we move, I'll ask you questions. I'll invite you to try simple exercises. Consider this not just a lecture, but a quiet training session for your character. Take a breath slowly in, slowly out. Feel the chair. Feel your feet. Let's begin. Technique 1. Rule yourself first. Before you can lead anyone, you must govern the only territory you truly control, your responses. That's the first and most enduring Stoic principle. You do not control events, only your judgments, your intentions, your actions. Everything starts there. If you're easily provoked, easily flattered, easily discouraged, then the world will always have its fingers on your buttons. But when you become the one who chooses your response deliberately, consistently, people feel it and they respect it. Ask yourself, how much of my day is reaction and how much is decision? When an email arrives with a sharp edge, do I mirror that edge or do I round it off with clarity? When someone interrupts me, do I escalate or do I pause and choose my tone? When plans change, do I sulk or do I adapt and reorient? Marcus trained this every morning. He reminded himself that this mind was free, even if the day would be full of friction. You can do the same with a simple ritual. Before you step into your day, choose 3 traits you will embody no matter what happens. For example, calm, clarity, and fairness. Whisper them to yourself. Write them. Picture yourself applying them in the hardest conversation you expect today. The point isn't to predict events. It's to preload your responses so you aren't scrambling later. Then, in the moment, practice the preference gap between stimulus and response. Insert the question, what kind of person do I prefer to be right now? Prefer to be patient, prefer to be exact, prefer to be brave, prefer to be kind. Respect grows wherever preference becomes practice. Try this in a meeting. Someone talks over you. Instead of snapping, feel your breath. Let your eyes settle. Then say, pleasantly but clearly, I'll finish my point, and I promise to hear yours fully. That is self-rule in a sentence. You didn't swing, you set the tone. And notice how the room recalibrates around you. People feel safer when someone is in charge of themselves. If you want a single reminder for technique 1, it's this: your first duty is to your judgment. Guard it. You are not a puppet of moods or headlines. You are a steward of your conduct. Rule yourself, and respect follows. Technique 2, speak little, mean much. There's a kind of speech that inflates shadows and another that casts light. Marcus favored the latter, simple, direct, free of vanity. He was not a showman with words, he was a craftsman. He sought the accurate phrase, the gentle correction, the plain apology, the firm boundary. Respect intensifies in the presence of speech that is both economical and generous. How do you learn to speak that way? Start with the silent count. Before you answer a hard question, breathe and silently count 1, 2, 3. This 3-second space does more than cool your emotions. It lets your reason find the cleanest line. Do you need to speak at all? If yes, what is the one sentence that addresses the heart of the matter? Without theatrics, next, practice the clear claim. It has 3 parts: claim, reason, and invitation. I disagree with moving the deadline. Here's why. The quality will suffer and trust will erode. If I'm missing something, walk me through it. No posturing, no sarcasm, no fluff, just integrity. People recognize this as fair play, even when they don't like the conclusion. Keep your speech free of the 2 rusts that corrode respect: exaggeration and gossip. Exaggeration erodes trust if you distort the small things. Why would anyone trust you with the big ones? Gossip cheapens you, it trades intimacy for entertainment. When someone tries to pull you into that current, you can step out with a sentence Marcus himself might have used. Let's talk to them, not about them. You'll be surprised how often that single pivot wins you quite admiration. Another exercise: title your sentence. Before you give a long explanation, find the title, the headline in 1 line. The project is on track but under-resourced. Then, add only the necessary details. People respect communicators who value attention as a shared resource. Finally, when you are wrong, admit it elegantly. I was mistaken. Thank you for catching that. Here's how I'll correct it. That sentence, delivered calmly, is a signature of strength. It says you love truth more than image. That earns respect better than any defensive spin. Speak little, mean much. Let your words be like well-made tools, simple, durable, and ready for service. Technique 3, heavy empathy, firm boundaries. Marcus often wrote about our shared nature. Even the people who frustrate us participate in the same human drama: confused, hopeful, afraid. Trying, when you approach people with heavy empathy, you recognize their interior weather before judging their exterior clothing. You ask, what pain might be animating this behavior? What fear is driving this urgency? What desire is speaking through this anger? This isn't naive. It's strategic and humane. Empathy lets you meet the person rather than wrestling with the role they're playing in this moment. It softens your voice. It opens options. It prevents you from dehumanizing, which always destroys your dignity first. But empathy without boundaries is a river with no banks. It floods everything. Respect arrives when empathy is paired with firm lines that protect your values, your time, and your focus. So how do you draw them? Start with clarity about what is yours to carry. You are responsible for your effort, your conduct, and your promises. You are not responsible for another adult's emotions. You are not responsible for fixing problems that belong to their role, unless your role requires it. Marcus would remind himself of roles: friend, parent, leader, citizen. Each role defines duties and limits. Know yours. Then, practice the steady no. A steady no is not a performance. It's a calm commitment voiced in plain language. No, I can't take that on this week. No, I won't discuss personal matters in public. No, I don't consent to being spoken to like that. You don't need to inflate the no with anger. The quieter the no, the stronger it feels. People respect it because it respects them. It gives them a clear boundary to navigate. Combine empathy and boundaries in the same sentence. I hear how urgent this feels, and I understand why you're worried. I'll help you tomorrow at 10 a.m., not before. Tonight I'm with my family. Notice the structure: acknowledgement, reason, boundary. This respects the other person's humanity without sacrificing your own. A final thought here: heavy empathy also means generous framing. When someone stumbles, say to yourself, if I had their history, their pressures, their blind spots, might I do the same? That question dissolves contempt. It doesn't excuse harm. It prevents your heart from growing hard. Respect follows those who can stand firm without becoming bitter. Technique 4. Make calm your superpower. Calm is not the absence of feeling. It is feeling placed in the service of judgment. Marcus trained himself again and again to keep his inner lake from being churned by every passing wind. He practiced the view from above, imagining the city shrinking beneath him, the years compressing, his own life a brief and beautiful assignment. With that perspective, petty provocations lose their teeth. How do you build this calm? It starts with your physiology. Because your body is not a spectator to your thoughts, it's a full participant. Use a simple breathing drill. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6, pause for 2, and repeat. Do it 3 times before you walk into the hard room. Do it once while someone else is talking. Your heart rate steadies, your voice drops half a note, your face relaxes. People feel your steadiness, they calibrate to it. Then use premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. In the morning, imagine the obstacles likely to arise, delays, criticism, confusion, and an unexpected demand. Don't catastrophize, normalize. Welcome each as part of the day's training. When the obstacles arrive, you greet them like a prepared host. Ah, there you are. I've set a place for you. This turns shock into readiness. Respect gravitates to those who seem unshocked by reality. When emotions surge, use the 2-handle test from the Stoic tradition. Every event offers 2 handles, one that harms you. If you grab it, and one that helps you, which will you choose? If a colleague challenges you in public, one handle is humiliation, the other is opportunity. Here's my moment to model grace under pressure. If a plan fails, one handle is self-pity, the other is learning. Here is my chance to refine the system. You choose the handle, you choose your posture, you choose the story you live inside. People can feel the story you're choosing, even if they don't have the words. They call it presence, but it's narrative discipline. Finally, refine your attention. Marcus counseled himself to do the thing in front of him as if it were the last thing he would ever do. That doesn't mean rushing, it means sincerity. When you give something your whole attention, even for 60 seconds, you dignify it and yourself. In a distracted culture, attention is respect. Those who wield it naturally command the same. Calm is a trainable state. It starts with breath, expands with perspective, and holds fast with the stories you choose. Make it your superpower, and your presence will do the heavy lifting. Technique 5. Rituals of integrity. Respect doesn't happen by accident. It happens by rhythm. Marcus wrote to himself daily for a reason. He was installing updates to his character. He reviewed his motives, corrected his errors, and recommitted to the virtues that would guide him through power, praise, and pain. You need rituals that do the same. Begin with a morning contract. Keep it simple and spoken aloud. Today I will be truthful without cruelty, decisive without haste, and kind without weakness. Choose your words, make them yours. Then visualize one specific scene where each will be tested. If you are likely to face a tough conversation, imagine yourself sitting at the table, feeling the chair, hearing your steady voice say what needs saying. This is not fantasy, it is rehearsal. Midday, run a virtual check-in. Open your calendar or your notes and ask, am I still in my contract? If yes, acknowledge it without vanity. If not, correct course. A single reset at noon can redeem a messy morning. It says, I am not a prisoner of the first half of my day. In the evening, do a ledger of the soul, a 3-minute audit. Ask, what did I do well? Where did I fall short? What will I do differently tomorrow? Keep the tone neither harsh nor indulgent. You are not a prosecutor, you are a craftsman. You are sanding rough edges, not smashing the table. Write one sentence of gratitude, one of learning, one of intention, over months. This daily ledger composes a life. Now, let's talk about promises. Integrity means your word is a small prophecy that comes true. Do not make promises lightly. Do not make many. But when you do, keep them with quiet faithfulness. If you discover you can't, inform early, apologize simply, and propose a new commitment you can keep. People respect calendars that are real, not aspirational. They respect yeses that mean yes and nos that mean no. Finally, protect the small honesty. Return the overpayment. Credit the assistant by name. Clarify the misunderstanding even when you could benefit from the ambiguity. These gestures are like bricks in a foundation. Each seems small, but together they support the house. The person who can be trusted in pennies will be trusted in fortunes. Rituals of integrity aren't about moral theater. They are about moral maintenance. You keep the instrument tuned. You keep the edge sharp, and one day you look up and realize people have been following the sound because it's steady, because it's clean, because it's real. Technique 6. Choose service over status. Power without service decays into performance. Marcus knew that his throne was a workstation, not a pedestal. He thought in terms of roles and duties. What is this position for? Who am I here to help? What is the common good in this situation? When you choose service over status, you are no longer competing for attention. You are allocating your attention to where it heals and helps. People sense that shift, and respect gathers like iron to a magnet. How do you practice service in modern life? First, make clarity a gift. In a foggy meeting, be the one who restates the problem in a way everyone can grasp. We're juggling 3 goals that conflict. Let's prioritize quality, speed, cost. Which 2 are truly non-negotiable? Clarity reduces suffering, and people respect anyone who can deliver it without condescension. Second, be a credit distributor. When success arrives, name names. She solved the blocker on Tuesday. He pushed the fix. The team and support kept customers calm. This does not diminish you. It enlarges you. Leaders who hoard applause shrink. Leaders who distribute applause grow a stature they didn't seek. Third, remove obstacles quietly. If someone is struggling because of a missing tool, get the tool. If a policy is outdated and causing friction, update it. Do you need to announce it? Not always. Do it because it's right. Do it because it's within your role. People notice, and even if they don't, you will notice, and that's enough. Respect is built from the inside out. Fourth, be a protector of the room. If someone is being dismissed, bring them back in. I want to hear her view. She sees the customer's pain up close. If someone is being attacked, redirect to issues, not persons. Let's keep this on the work, not on character. A protector doesn't dominate, they make space safe. That kind of service earns deep, durable respect. Fifth, keep one practice sacred, a daily unrecorded kindness. Do one good thing no one knows about. Let yourself be nourished by the private act. This tunes your motives. It cleans your palette of performance. And oddly enough, people often sense the difference. They may not know the deed, but they feel the humility it cultivates. Service is not softness, it is strength pointed outward. It says, my identity is not in the spotlight. It's in the usefulness of my day. Live like that long enough, and respect becomes the quiet atmosphere around you. Technique 7. Decide once. Courage. We arrive at courage because all the other techniques need it. It takes courage to rule yourself when your impulses shout. It takes courage to speak plainly when spin would protect you. It takes courage to empathize with people who scare you and to draw boundaries with people you love. It takes courage to stay calm when panic is profitable. It takes courage to keep your rituals when cynicism calls them quaint. It takes courage to serve when status would be easier. So, decide once. Decide that you will act with courage when the moment arrives, not because you feel brave, but because you have chosen to be brave. This decision is like setting a compass. When you're lost in a fog of pressure, you don't invent a direction. You consult the compass you set when the sky was clear. How do you live with a decision? Start small and specific. The next time you must deliver a hard truth, practice gentle candor. Tell them what is real without armor and a dagger. I respect you, and that's why I'm telling you. This falls short. I believe we can do better, and here's how. You may tremble, that's fine. Courage isn't the absence of tremble. It's a tremble that moves forward. Name your line in the sand, the action you will not take, the lie you will not tell, the trade you will not make. Write it down, read it weekly. When the pressure arrives, your decision is already made. You are not gambling with your soul in the moment. You are executing a policy you wrote when you were sane. Then, practice micro-bravery daily. Speak up in the meeting where you usually hide. Ask the question that no one wants to ask. Admit the gap in your knowledge and ask for help. Try the thing you've been postponing because you fear looking foolish. Courage grows like a muscle not from a single heroic lift, but from consistent repetitions under honest weight. There's also the courage to forgive and to let go. To forgive is not to pretend harm didn't happen. It is to release yourself from being defined by it. To let go is to stop trying to control what you never controlled to begin with. This is not passive. It is the action of choosing where to place your finite energy. People respect those who can release grudges and refocus on the good. At the end of the day, courage is the will to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason, even when it costs you, not to perform for honor, but to preserve your honor. Marcus did not always succeed, neither will you. But each courageous act, however small, trains the next one over time. You become someone whose courage is expected even by you. Let's come back to the room where we started. You walk in, the room softens. Problems no longer buzz, they sit down and wait their turn. People feel steadier because you are steady. They feel clearer because you are clear. They feel seen because you see them. They stay within boundaries because yours are firm and fair. They speak more truth because you do. They become braver because you decided to be. This is the path Marcus walked, not a path of theatrics, but of practice. Let's gather what you're taking with you. You rule yourself first, guarding your judgment like the gate to a city. You speak little and mean much, letting truth travel lightly and land gently. You carry heavy empathy, remembering that people are more than their worst moment. While drawing firm lines that honor your time and role, you cultivate calm as your superpower through breath, perspective, and narrative discipline. You keep rituals of integrity so your promises become small prophecies fulfilled. You choose service over status, giving clarity, distributing credit, removing obstacles, and protecting the room. And you decide to be courageous, practicing micro-bravery daily and holding the line you vowed never to cross. Will you stumble? Of course, Marcus stumbled, but he returned to the page each day to recalibrate. You can, too. Tomorrow morning, make your contract. At noon, check in. At night, run your ledger. Speak the clear sentences when you're tempted to hide behind jargon. Offer the steady no when pressure tries to steal your time. Do one unrecorded kindness. Breathe before the hard room. Choose the handle that helps, and when fear taps your shoulder, answer with the policy you wrote when you were calm. Ask yourself quietly, honestly, who do I want to be in the next difficult moment? Not in theory, but in practice. See that version of you. See their posture, their eyes, their voice. See the way they carry the situation as if it were heavy but not hateful. That person is not a stranger. That person is you with training. Respect, in the end, is not something you pry out of people's hands. It's something they offer because your life invites it. It's the bow to a craftsman whose work is clean. It's the silence after a sentence that didn't need a second draft. It's the relief of being around someone who wants what is right more than they want to be right. If you forget everything else, remember this: the most persuasive thing about you is the way you treat what you can't control. Treat it with steadiness, humility, and courage, and you will find respect waiting for you, not as a prize, but as a partner. Take one last breath with me in and out. Walk into your day. Rule yourself. Speak plainly. Hold your lines. Be steady. Keep your rituals. Serve. Be brave. Let respect find you doing your work, and let it make its home there. You're ready.